Hey queens and kings, welcome back and thank you guys so much for watching. So in today's DIY, we are doing 4 Dollar Tree affordable high end for less. So if you all would like to see how I created each and every one of them, why don't you all please continue to watch. Okay, queens and kings, so for the very first DIY here, we're going to use the foam patterns that I got from Dollar Tree, as well as this sander block here, as well as this pizza pan. Now what I'm going to use the sander block for is basically to scratch up the pizza pan, so therefore when I take it outside to spray paint it, I will be able to have my spray paint to adhere to it very well. I won't have to worry about it scratching up. Now, if you feel like you want to go a little bit farther, what else you can do after you finish spray painting it all down, use some glaze spray paint as well, like a cylinder base, so therefore it can lock in the colors that you put on your pan. So what I'm doing here is basically flip the pan over after I sand it down, and I'm just going to put the little padding up under the bottom, so therefore it does not scratch in the surface. Now that our paint is all done and complete, this is the gorgeous piece. Now I was inspired by this piece here from Target as well as IKEA, because you guys know right now gold is the popular thing, as well as modern decor. So this is basically how I style it, and the spray paint that I use also came from Walmart, Rust-Oleum bright gold spray paint, but I did put a cylinder on top of it too, so therefore this can last a very long time. Now moving on to the second DIY here, I have this big old party bowl, but you see it had cracks, so I'm still just gonna go with what I needed to do with it. Now this bowl here, I have seen it on Instagram where it have like all the balls on the outside of it. I'm not sure what you actually call that bowl, but I really think it's very cute and pretty. If I could find a picture where I done seen it on people Instagram, I will actually insert the picture so you guys get a ideal and look what I'm going for. So I'm using these Halloween eyeballs, and I think like 12 maybe come in a pack, don't quote me on that, but all I'm doing is just using some Gorilla hot glue, and basically I'm gluing it to the bowl. Now as you do see, I'm actually gluing the back part to the bowl other than the eyeballs, because the back part have like this small little manufactured writing on the back of it, so therefore I didn't want that to show when I do take this also outside and spray paint it. Isn't she beautiful, queens and kings? Even with my crack, I still love it. Now you could put some type of greenery in here, but what I had on hand was some flowers, so I decided to put some flowers in there, and I really think this turned out to be a high-end look, but for less. What do you queens and kings think? I really do like this. All right, queens and kings, so now for the third DIY here, I'm using this air dry molding clay. Now I purchased this from Walmart, no more than $8, and I'm using one whole pack because I'm actually going to do another DIY with it. But what I'm doing here is taking a popsicle stick and cut it down to sizes that I want, however big you want it, however thick you would like for it to be. But you see here, I'm just taking and shaping it all up, and I'm just rolling it till I basically get it to the desired width or thickness that I want. At this point I wasn't sure, but I'm just going to continue doing it until I get the desired look. Now, as you all can see, basically I'm making some loops with it. So I'm doing the little chain length. Now this here, I didn't learn much about this until I started doing it. So I had to use water because eventually it started to dry out. You know, it's air dry. So you don't have to bake this one here. You just let it sit out, and I let it sit out for 24 hours. So basically what I'm doing here is dipping my finger into water to pretty much shape it how I want it to be. Now, it's not going to be perfect, and that's one thing I do like about it because it have character, that I would call it, or whatever. All the little lumps and bumps and scratches, and then on top of that, my fingernails keep getting caught up into the clay, so therefore I'm making marks that I don't want to make. So that's why I'm keep going back into the water to actually do it until I actually get it to the desired look that I'm satisfied with. Okay, so it is the next day, and I'm taking that Rust-Oleum Gold spray paint once again and spray it up. Now, you can hand paint this too, but whatever desire you would like to do, that's up to you. And this is basically how she turned out. Now, you see I still have some little scuffles and little bumps, and that's one thing I like about it because it gave it more character and it's more of a conversation piece because I did it myself. This project here was no more than $8. You gotta love it, but it was at Walmart. So, yeah. All right, queens and kings. So for the last and final item here, I'm using all Dollar Tree items. I'm using some little spoolies. Is that what they call? Dowels. I'm sorry. Some candle holder and these little salt and pepper shakers here. I did find those at the party store, but it was no more than $1 neither. And then I'm using some more of the remaining of the clay as well. So all I'm doing here is basically placing a nice little amount of hot glue on the bottom of the dowel, and I'm just going to stick that on top of that tea light candle holder. And this one here is a longer stem, so basically I'm breaking it in half to make it a little bit shorter because it's a little too tall for what I need it to be. And what all I'm going to do is basically take that clay, and I'm just going to start placing the clay all over the sticks, all over the dowels, correction, as well as the tea light candle holders there. And I'm going to continue doing it until I basically get the desired look that I want. Now, I seen these little taper candles holder, pretty much what I'm making here. I seen these, I want to say H&M. I seen a design of it, but it wasn't more of a crafty look. It had a little more smooth and shiny look. I'll try to insert those, but that's basically what gave me the idea. Now, what I would say that I should have done was did the sticks first, then hot glued it to the tea light candle holders, and then put the clay on it, because this was a little difficult to do because you see that it's still shaking and everything. But once it all dries all up, everything hardened up, and it won't be moving at all. Okay, so now I'm taking one of the salt and pepper shaker, and basically I'm putting some more of that clay forming around it too, so therefore it will give it a uniform look when I do attach it to the dowel. And all I'm going to do is place a nice amount of hot glue on top of the dowel and stick the shaker on top of it. And I'm gonna continue putting more clay around to, secure everything. And then I'm gonna let this sit for 24 hours too as well, and harden on up. And I'm gonna take it outside to spray paint it, and we're gonna have some beautiful tapered modern candle holders. Okay, so once again, I am dipping my hand into the water and basically shaping and spreading out as best as possible. But I do like the look of the craftiness of it. So you can do this until you get it as smooth as possible, how you want it, as you all see that I'm doing on the stem there. But you see that it's starting to harden up, so it don't have too much of a wiggle room. But the water is basically helping me to shape it and form it how I would like for it to be. So like I said, once again, let this dry for at least 24 hours, and then you can spray paint it or hand paint it whatever color you would desire for to do it. And all I'm doing here is using that popsicle stick just to make the round part of the base a little bit smoother and get away of the excess of the clay. So here I take them outside after I let them dry all up and they harden all up, and I'm just using that Rust-Oleum spray paint once again from the Walmart. That spray paint was no more than like about $3 or $4, but I had it in my crafts. Now here I'm using the 5 hours emergency candles from the Dollar Tree, and these fit perfect inside the shaker part that gave me my taper candle holders. So I love the way that these came out, because like I said, a lot of this stuff have more character when you're able to do it by hand, other than going in the store paying all them high prices, and you could do it for less. Just less. All this was less than $10. So I hope you queens and kings enjoy these high-end for less modern DIYs. If you all did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all on the next modern DIY. Thank you.